Well, hello there. I thought for another walk in the wet UK countryside. So, what are we going to talk about? Well, I've noticed recently that I've been a bit snappy, been a bit agitated, like wondering why I'm getting so snippy and snappy and, aggravated sort of vibe. And then, well, largely it dawned on us, it's because of this thing here. So this is like a refillable, you can buy refillable liquids to fill it up, and you can get different strengths of nicotine, so ranging from 20 milligrams down to 3 milligrams. And recently I dropped from 20 milligrams to 6 milligrams. So that's a drop of 40 milligrams. And to be honest with you, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't that, affected the withdrawals from the nicotine. Nicotine didn't seem to be as, I wasn't really feeling the effect of the withdrawal. However, more recently, I dropped from 6 milligrams down to 3, and that 3 milligrams, so a total reduction of 17 milligrams I've removed of nicotine from my intake. So it's largely just like water and flavouring with a dab of nicotine, because I'm making it my intention to stop. But what I didn't factor in is just like how it's going to have an effect on me. So I've noticed recently, it's just like, well, at first it's like, why am I being snippy? I mean, it'll probably have something to do with all those parasites trying to get up my energy, and because they're thirsty, they're being starved because they're blocked, because they're retards, and everyone can see that they're retards now. Well, that's a fact. But yeah, so there's that, I suppose you can factor into it. But largely, for me, in my case, it's because of the reduction of nicotine in my e-liquid that I used to refill my vape. And so yeah, I'm only on 3 milligrams of nicotine, and I suppose my body is noticing the drop from 20 down to 3. And so yeah, I've noticed it have an effect on my mood. But not to worry, it too shall pass. Because once I get my body readjusts to the drop in nicotine, I will then be just completely stopping. But at least when I get, down to 3 milligrams and just readjust, the withdrawal won't be as fierce as if you were to just stop smoking at 20 milligrams. So, silver lining and all that. So yeah, I was noticing certain things I was watching online that it was having an effect that it shouldn't really have. And I was just like, why? I've been going all this time and not being faced by it. I'm thinking, why now? Why now? And I'm running things through my mind. It's just like, I know why. It's because I've dropped down my nicotine intake. So yeah, naturally my body will have a withdrawal because I'm depriving it of that, that addiction, which I'm trying to starve it of. So I'm trying to taper off sensibly. I've tried many techniques, I've tried different ways, I've just persevered, as you do, resilient. And so this time I just went from 20 down to 6, did that for a month to 6 weeks maybe less, and then I dropped from 6 to 3 more recently. And yeah, starting to realise why I'm being a bit chewy. bit wooky, a bit chewy. But like I say, you just got to go through the motions, because at the end of the day, nicotine is a highly addictive substance. So, you know, when inhaled, so it's like everything else, you've got to persevere and just go through the motions until, you know, you balance out your addiction to the point where you're not dependent on that, and then I will be rid of the only vice that I have remaining, and I'll be able to get rid of this and I won't have to have it round in my hand like a pacifier, like it's some kind of dummy. I just call it me fucking inhaler, but you know, but I don't have asthma, I promise. But no, I'll not go that way, because I've got my hiking shoes, like they like trainers, but they're really well air vented. With it being a sort of like of a wet day, it's like if there's any long grass that's still like wet or damp, it's just gonna saturate my socks and I'll be walking around with squeaky shoes, squelching. So I'm just trying to go like the easy route while I'm off for a walk to get myself balanced as well, because it's been, well, the last 2 days it's been really like pissing it down with rain, hossing it down, as we say, hossing down the rain, like, you know, like you're dodging fucking horses, not like that, but just heavy rain. And so I need to get out more, because, you know, it gets a bit boring and insulting Gollum over the road pretending that he can't hear. He's like a kid, you know, when he gets caught, but they just insist on lying, because that's what children do. And they get found out, I didn't do it, it could be caught red-handed. I'm not doing that wrong. I'm not looking at your window. I'm not looking at your window. Well, fucking hell, Darren, I was inside the house with the windows closed when I said there he is looking at my window, and then when I walked over, straight away, I didn't even say anything. I'm not looking at your window. It's like, okay, Darren, what? Is it true what they say about fat cunts? What's that? They shop at Iceland. She shops at Iceland. But anyway, you know, it's like, Darren, I've met a few pricks in my time, but you're a whole fucking cactus. You know, it's just like, if one listener an asshole, I'll fart. You know, and like, if you're that fucking important, everyone will be stalking you and tapping in your fucking house. Oh well, the police are. You know, the investigation team are very interested in what's going on in your household, Gollum. And the same with the rest of the cretins that you're fraternising with while you're sending your messages in code on your WhatsApp that you think's encrypted. Not for the 3-letter or the alphabet agencies. No, they have open source applications that allow them a backdoor, a window of opportunity to keep their eyes on you, snivelling little cretins. But the rain's back again. Well, I say it, the rain, it's that fine stuff, it soaks right through. So I'll put my poncho on, you know, to keep us dry. But the irony of that is, it keeps you dry on the outside. On the inside, it's like fucking wall insulation. You take off the poncho, you're just dripping wet. You know, and you've lost about 12 stone for the fucking sweat. But not necessarily a bad thing. So, oh well, it's not too bad here because I'm underneath the trees. Just like sort of going on the dirt trails or the tarmac paths, so I don't get my feet all soaking wet. I know you're shocked I'm not wearing my cap, but don't worry, it's here. It's just wearing that, and then when you have to put the hood on at the same time, it's just extra insulation to make you sweat more, which is unnecessary. But yeah. So yeah, just thought I'd get that out of the way, and moving that to one side. I have a question, And the question that I have to these retards that, you know, that I live rent-free in their head, they like have their ritual of getting up every morning to stalk me obsessively online or in person when they've got one of the ghouls, one of the ghouls with a chopped off fucking nose like on there on Fallout. They've got the ghouls creeping around in the car, watching us from afar, in a bar, wearing a bra, playing on the guitar. But anyway, how do you isolate an introvert? This is an interesting question because, you know, you flat-headed, bird-brained, cloth-eared bince thought it would be a genius masterstroke because we all know you're codependent and you need constant attention to make your self-worth be appreciated, because without that attention it just depreciates and goes down faster than a fucking Titanic in the Atlantic or the Arctic or whatever, you know, whatever you call it. You know, how do you do that? You know, like, what you should really do is go online, right? Go online and type in introverted or introvert and then definition and press enter to search. And then it'll give you the dictionary definition to let you know an introverted person spends most of their time in solitude, as they prefer the quiet, the peaceful, the solemn solitude. The serenity of isolation. You know, the quiet. Like now, as I walk down this dirt trail that's been reshaped, which is very nice, with another trough to let the water flow through from the vegetation on the hills. As it drops down into the ditch and runs away, it's just the quiet, peaceful serenity of solitude, of isolation. The time to spend with yourself, to get to know oneself, to have wonderful thoughts about interesting things. You know, who's not chained or shackled to many people because they're insecure, or there are just worthless people who have done some heinous crimes, and if left to their self, by themselves, to share even 5 moments of their own space without another single person around, it will drive them batshit crazy, because they need noise, they need distractions, they need people constantly licking their ring piece and telling them how wonderful they are while they have a tongue filled full of feces. You know, and you, being the imbecile that you are, thought that I am anything like you are. You know, it just goes to show just how much of an imbecile all of yous are, who hatched up this fucking plan, who thought that I would be anything like you. That I don't need attention, I don't need validation, I don't need to be surrounded by fucking degenerates, airheads, you know, just sheep following the flock. You know, I don't need to be a part of the hive mind. You know, I've detached from the hive mind. I'm an independent thinker. I think for myself. I think, therefore I am. You're sheep, therefore you follow. But you actually thought, I'm nothing like you. You don't even know who I am, because if you knew who I was, you knew I would be happy being in isolation. Because all it did is help me to grow stronger, get to know myself better, help myself to heal, help myself to reflect, how to improve myself, how to be a better person. Whereas you have, throughout your life, continued to follow the same process and repeat that process. It's like a bike with a pedal, where you're just in a perpetual pedaling, just put in a perpetual motion, non-stop, same thing all the time. And it's like you have a lot of addictions. You have an addictive personality. You know, you're sex addicts, you're alcoholics, you're cocaine addicts. I mean, the shit you're snorting, it's not even fucking cocaine. It's laced with fucking fentanyl. So you're basically opiate addicts. You know, you're like heroin and things like that. And then I hear you smoking crack and crystal meth. And you know, you're a large amount of debt. And you've all got incurable STDs that you've been spreading far and wide. Speaking of which, it's funny how you've been going around making all these lies to the Crown Prosecution Services, to the investigative team, having me under investigation based on these lies of me apparently being a sex worker. Been celibate for 17 years, but okay, you know what I mean. I've practiced semen retention for over a year now, so I don't even fucking play with it. Within that time, I've been under investigation, and you know, the investigative team have, beyond a shadow of a doubt, have come to the conclusion that I'm innocent and that you're full of shit. And again, repeat myself like a fucking broken record. They turned their attentions to you and found that you're the one who's been doing these things that you've been accusing me of. You, the projectionist that you've been trying to make me guilty of, while trying to hatch up a plan to bring like evidence to, you know what I mean, so you can trap me in this devilish plot that you've concocted that's dramatically backfired, because once I walked away from you bunch of clampets, that's when your world fell apart. And that's why you think you can send in this Ukrainian midget, you know, Yuri Kokov. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Yuri Kokov. But anyway, look, you haven't been able to pin us for being a drug dealer, because I don't do drugs. That's about as bad as it gets. And even then, I've only got 3 milligrams at this point. But by this time next year, before that actually, but by this time next year, I've been stopped for a year. You know what I mean? Or something to that effect. So, and I don't drink. I don't go out drinking. I like to spend time in nature. You know, alone, with no one around, just me spinning around on the camera. Ooh! While I live in your head, rent free, as you watch and obsess, while you look down upon me and you have all of your material possessions, and you do nothing but talk shit about us all day, every day. 24/7, 365 days a year. I mean, what a fucking sad life you must have. You know, you're always bragging about all these material possessions that you have, and that how you're so much better than I am, and that you have this big house that you stole from fucking me, that you've either sold or using as an Airbnb. And put it this way, this fucking house that you stole, I won't be fucking living in it. You think I want to live in a fucking house? Well, you's dirty cunts have been. And it doesn't matter who you've had there. No. Wouldn't be interested. Sell it. Fucking sell it. That's what I'll do, and use that money to buy a fucking house somewhere else. But no, you have all your handbags. And then you've got all your different designer clothes because you're fucking insecure. You know this. Poncho, £6. Retail about $8, $9, $10 over in America. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. I just buy, for the tops with no label. Because I don't need to walk around and say, oh, I've got this label. Oh, I've got that label. That means I'm special. That means I'm more than you. Because I walk around with fucking Vesnacci and fucking Scroochie and fucking Tommy fucking Ziegel! I mean, Hilfiger. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, you know, billionaires or multimillionaires, they couldn't give a fuck about designer logos. They dress down because they have real money, you know, substantial amount of money. But no, I'm not interested. I mean, when I go out walking, I'm not really interested. Although I will say this, Nike Air Max are quite something else when going out for long walks, especially in the summer, because of the air bubble. But no, I've just got a pair of, you know, hiking shoes, not boots, shoes, and there's like a lot of room for my feet, and it's well ventilated and it's comfortable, because when you're doing the amount of miles that I clock up each week, you need comfort on your feet. And I'm not interested in Timberland or anything like that. I just want fucking comfort, and I'll just sit. If I'm getting a pair off Amazon, I'll just look at the reviews and just see what they think. And I'll say, oh well, based off the reviews, I'll try it. And well, I'll tell you what it is, I've got these pair, which are a lot fucking cheaper than Nike Air Max. I can tell you. And they're perfect, comfy. When you're walking on like stony roads, you can't feel like the stones poking into the soles of your feet. Things like that. But yeah, wealthy people dress down, and if they go to these fucking soiree events or whatever, they just rent a suit and then give it fucking back, because at the end of the day that suit will just be stuck in a fucking wardrobe, taking up space. Now what wealthy people do is they reinvest the money to make more money, whether it's in stocks and bonds, you know, all that shit you stole from me. Like that shares in a business that you stole from us, things like that. While you're lording about flexing off my fucking money that you stole from me. You know, like how you always used to like lord it over us. I've got this, I've got that, I've got this job. Well, not any fucking more, because you've been caught embezzling finances. But at the end of the day, right, you've went out your way to lord it over us with fucking money that's not yours, that's been stolen from other people, trying to make out you some sort of regal or royalty, which you are not, right? And you've done some fucking heinous acts, all for the sake of money and status and power, which you think makes you special, right? But here's the thing, if having all that makes me behave like you do, then I fucking don't want it, because I like being humble. Not that I think I'm below anyone or above anyone. I just don't feel like I need to be constantly shoving shit in people's face, because I'm not insecure. That's why I don't need a lot of people in my life. In fact, I'm not interested in having a lot of people in my life, because a lot of people, most people just are not on my wavelength. They're not interested in the things that I want to talk about. It's normally getting drunk, snorting coke, smoking weed, which is okay once in a while, but not all the fucking time. Especially not the rate you consume and go through shit. But no, and you just like, you're all sex addicts. You all want to fucking swing and all that. Well, I'm not interested in doing that either. You know, it's just like no interest whatsoever. Like, I'll be honest with you, right? I'm rather old-fashioned. I'd rather find someone, right, and be friends first, and get to know each other, spend time with each other, go off for walks, go off for a coffee, you know what I mean? Do something like during the day, just have a nice day out somewhere, or maybe go see a movie. You know, something that's not evolved around a swinger party, doing all kinds of fucking deprived shit with fucking midgets and animals and things like that. Well, I shouldn't say midget, I should say dwarf, but you know what I mean. and people in fucking gimp suits strapped to horses and things like that, like the wooden horse with a ball gag. And no, that's just too fucking bizarre. I wouldn't want anything to do with that at all. No, I don't need to do what you do in order to feel special. No, you know, I'm pretty old-fashioned when it comes to courting. You know, I'd rather get to know someone because I'm not interested in trying to get into a woman's knickers as fast as I can. You know what I mean? I'm not an 18-year-old with raging fucking hormones anymore. You know, at the end of the day, allegedly, I turned 47 in July, right? And it's glaringly obvious that I have matured and I have a mental maturity. You know what I mean? I'm grounded and I have a balanced outlook on life, as opposed to you clowns behaving as if you were an 18-year-old with raging hormones. You know, it's quite the contrast. You know, it's dramatic. A woman in her 50s or 60s or 40s and upwards still behaving like fucking children, because, you know, at the end of the day, I did it the right way around. I got all that angst, teenage angst, out of my way as a teenager. You know, I was going raving from the age of, 14, to be honest with you, upwards. And I did that whole fucking rave scene and partied and got off my face and got it out the fucking way, and then settled down and wanted more out of life. All without fucking shagging as many people as I can and getting as many fucking incurable STDs as you know what I mean? You've like collected quite a few, I understand. As well as pushing your body to the limit, to the point where your organs are starting to fail. And especially you, fatty bomb. The blonde-haired fucking out-of-shape Barbie. You know, this is what I'm hearing. Pancreas are failing, livers are failing, kidneys are failing, lungs are failing, heart's weak, bad bloodstream, bad blood circulation. You're just fucking toxic at this point, right? And then you've got, like, you know, you've racked up quite a number of incurable STDs, of which you have HIV, you have herpes, you have bacterial vaginosis, you have syphilis, gonorrhea. You know, you stink like worse than a skunk. And then you've got cervical cancer, right? And then since you're like into, you know, you know what I mean? You like spending time at the morgue. You know, your pals at the morgue where you like to hang out. And then, like, you know, and then you have your kinky habits like scatophilia and coprophilia, which is some serious shit. You know, I mean, you are one sick in the head individual. And I want nothing to do with you. And I'll be happy to see you behind bars. I'll be happy to see the back of you and all of the other clampets in your clan. You know, but yeah, if anything, it's shown me that if wealth leads to your type of behaviour, then I don't need it. I'd rather put that money to good use. That's going to be of benefit to me and other people. Bless my pockets as well as other people's pockets. You know, and if it allows me to teach people to be nothing like you, then it's money well spent. But I think I'll leave it there at this point. I've prattled on for long enough. So when all is said and done, this is Nightfly 777 signing off.